Why aren't airline pilots overweight? Not a lot of drive-through fast food places at 30,000 feet. Pilots have to go through periodic medical certifications mandated by the FAA. A healthy pilot is important to ensure the safety of passengers. It is a job requirement. Flight decks are cramped. Stews also have to adhere to a physical weight limit, though it's been somewhat expanded in recent decades. I would assume dietary factors play in also. Truck drivers have the availability of fast food and truck stop food, which isn't traditionally healthy but is a quick and easy meal at somewhere you can pull your truck into. I'm not sure what pilots tend to eat while flying, whether it's packing their own lunch, or if they're eating airline food or something like that. But any of those options could lead to a bit healthier of a diet. It's a class thing as well. I'm a bus driver, and I really try to look after myself now. After getting fat from eating poorly and sitting all day, I'm at the gym for at least an hour and a half every night trying to get my cardiovascular health and strength back to where they were. I am the only person I work with who does this, and I work with at least 100 other drivers. Where I am from, a lot of working class people are overweight. It is almost expected. Wealthier people tend to look after themselves way better. Have you ever seen the cockpit of a modern jetliner? Fat people aren't getting in there. Hard to pass your flight physical if you're significantly overweight. Factors like blood pressure are likely to creep up if you're not taking care of yourself, and that's disqualifying if too high. Can you be a bit overweight and pass? Sure, just like skinny people might fail for other reasons. But statistically, the more overweight you get, the more problems you're likely to have. I wonder if it's because walking through airports actually help. It's all the sex, obviously. Pilots, for their job, are quite structured. I imagine this carries over to them being structured in their life outside the cockpit and leads to them sticking to a routine for workouts. Though there are many benefits to exercise, it isn't required to maintain a slim figure. Diet is a far more important factor than exercise. They're not overeating. Unlike truckers, they can't stop mid-air for some McDonald's. Airline pilots have to pass a pretty strict medical exam every year. Under 40, or every 6 months. Over 40, there is no direct requirement to be under a certain weight BMI. But the exams are pretty thorough in regards to heart health, blood pressure, EKG, etc., and have pretty strict requirements in regards to diabetes, both of which you will probably fail if you are very overweight. And there are a multitude of other medical conditions that could disqualify you for a first-class medical that you would be likely to have if you are extremely overweight. Some airlines might impose certain height, weight, BMI restrictions. But as far as I know, none of the major airlines have strict limits on this, only requiring you to have your first-class medical. If a commercial pilot fails their medical, their flying career is over. So there is a lot of motivation to stay healthy. Some airlines that operate smaller aircraft might have limits, but it's mostly due to the actual weight balance limits of the plane. And virtually all planes could probably not be comfortably flown by someone who weighed 300 pounds or more. Helicopters are more sensitive to this, and most helicopter operators have pretty strict limits on pilot size. And, as others noted, it's also a class thing. Airline pilots are paid well, do not work that many hours, and most would say the job is really not very stressful. Takes a lot of time, effort, and money to get to the airlines. But once you're there, it's a pretty sweet gig. My anecdotal observations of pilots are that they are also highly disciplined. They don't munch on Doritos and drink soda all day like truck drivers. There are practical weight limits for very large or heavy pilots. Avoidance of conditions strongly linked with obesity help with getting a medical certificate. Pilot seats do not accommodate the big and tall all that well. As a current airline pilot, I'm shocked by people's responses. Contrary to what you may think, a significant amount of pilots eat fast food from the terminals. A lot of schedules only have us overnight for 10 hours in a city, which leaves no time to exercise. I'd say over half the guys I fly with are overweight. The real answer here is 1,000 hours. That's the hard limit on the number of hours a commercial pilot can fly per year. Break that down and that's about 21 hours a week, or less than 5 hours a day. Now they don't work 5 hours a day. They might be on a 15-hour flight, but then on average they'll then take the next couple of days off. The fact is that they're effectively working less than half the hours that most people work, and making good money. So on their off days they'll work out, engage in active hobbies, eat sensibly, and generally be healthy. And this is why, while money can't directly buy happiness, it certainly can buy health and a longer life. And lack of money definitely can make you unhealthy, die earlier, and make you very unhappy. FAA regulations say that over-spec pilots are only allowed to pilot non-rigid lighter-than-air aircraft. Pilots skip a lot of meals because airline food sucks ass. And what's the deal with airline food?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.